What do you think about that fight?
A 50-50 fight. It's a 50-50 matchup. It's the fights that everybody talks about that we don't have here in America, and we do have one. This is a fight. I'm not looking at the fact that a guy has 11 fights. I'm not looking at that at all. Sometimes we can get caught up with that, just like Majimov. This is a guy that's highly skilled. When I did my research on Morrell, I came across some interesting things. I didn't know he had 130 amateur fights, and I didn't know he only had 5 losses. I didn't know that he was a junior world champion at 175 pounds. So he's a natural 175 fighting at 168. Now he's back at his comfortable weight. So like he has skills, he has punching power. Most of the Cubans, right? They very elusive, great footwork, great at positioning, good counter punchers. He has those abilities, but he's a serious puncher. Benavidez, on the other hand, his skills, he had 15 amateur fights. He won them all. However, he learned a lot of what he knows inside the gym. He's been in the gym since he was a kid, training. He's been sparring, as any guy that can step foot in the ring with him, so he's kind of learned on the job. And you got to remember, he was the youngest ever to win the championship, I believe, at 168 pounds. Might be 160. I think it was 168, the youngest ever. Yeah, super middleweight. I think it was 21 years old or something like that, tying with Mike Tyson. I think that's the weight class. But anyways, that's special. That's special. I mean, look at what Mike Tyson done in the sport when you're winning a belt that young, and again, limited amateur experience, and he's learned on the job and sparring and learning against sparring quality opponents throughout his career. I feel, has more experience in the pros. I think he's shown that he can deal with any style, especially at 168 pounds. And some will say that, he's a weight bully and all this stuff. But I think it's more. I think he has a higher IQ than most people give him credit for. I think his IQ is underrated. He has good speed. His power hasn't kind of translated. I'm gonna just hold off on that because he had hurt hands. You see, he hurt one of his hands in his last fight. He was very vocal about it afterwards, post fight. We saw the visual of it, yes. So that could have had something to do with it. As far as stamina goes, same thing. When you can't spar like you usually spar, gaining that extra weight, you got to figure out the balance between running. He hadn't figured that out possibly yet, so his preparation for his last fight could have been, due to the fact that, his hands and the fact that he's moving up for the first time and didn't really have to work as hard. But now he's working his ass off for this one. I feel that Morrell, on the other hand, his last performance, you judge him by his last performance, I felt like he fought against a boxer. Well, Benavidez, he can box, but he likes to bring that pain. That's his thing. Mm-hmm. He likes to bring that pain, but he does have something that I think that's going to give Morrell problems, and if he uses it, it will help him. That's a step back game. Mm-hmm. Stepping back against Morrell, I saw that Morrell, he struggles with guys that know how to manipulate distance, and him being a power puncher, his feet got to be set, and when he steps forward and he extends, again, if you make him fall short with that 78-inch reach, oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
78-inch reach, mm-hmm. Unreal. Mm-hmm. Then you make him fall short and he kind of gets left out there. He doesn't like that. So if Benavidez, if he's listening, I mean, the step back game would be cold. And since I gave Benavidez something, I'm going to give Morrell something. If you attack that body, you're going to have a lot of success, and that's because Benavidez, he squares up too much, uses a high guard mainly for defense. He will move his head. However, let me just wrap this up real quick because I can go on and tell details and detail. but it's going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be about if Morrell can stay concentrated and wash, rinse, and repeat his game plan, attack that body, use his boxing ability, avoid getting trapped on the ropes, staying in the center of the ring, and again, staying consistent. He cannot, especially late in the fight, because that pressure is going to continue to come. He can win the fight. If Benavidez, if he presses, if he gets past and escape without being knocked down or hurt, in the first half of the fight, if he can constantly put pressure on Morrell, force him out, force him onto his back foot where he's not supremely comfortable at because he likes to come forward as well. Push a high pace, let his combinations fly, bang down to his body, really make it uncomfortable for him. I think he can win the fight on the backstretch. But all in all, I think Benavidez is going to have to come back from behind in order to win this fight. I think Morrell has a great boxing ability to be able to operate and control the action up till 6. We'll see late because he don't have all that late round experience. He doesn't have it. He's only gone the distance twice. So, but yeah, that's my breakdown for that fight. I'm going with Benavidez just on experience alone. But if you put a gun in my head, I'll say I don't know. I would say I really don't know. I really don't know. It's a very, very close matchup, man.
Have you noticed how David Benavidez has really been trying to get under Morrell's skin, kind of piss him off like every chance he gets? I almost feel like that kind of fits in with your breakdown about the step back game, right? Like,
yeah,
piss the guy off, have him come forward, step back, bing, get him out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's see, the thing is with the reason why Morrell is getting under his skin, and what Benavidez got to realize is that that can motivate you, but it also can set you up for failure. Morrell's the type of guy that likes a guy that's directly in front of him. His last fight showed me that he doesn't like guys that actually move and that actually can box and pick up their feet. So if Benavidez is going to stand directly in front and not manipulate the distance a little bit on him and change things up, he's going to be there to be hit. And that's the reason why Morrell's like, telling him, hey, mocking him and trying to get under his skin. So if Benavidez is smart, you got to again, use his IQ. He does have an IQ. I don't know if it's on a level of a Morrell. However, I think it's damn good. I think it's highly underrated. I think that he knows how to apply himself and his style on his opposition. That's the reason why he's been able to be so successful. And as soon as he gets you frantic, that's when Benavidez starts rolling downhill on you. It kind of reminded me of what we just saw just recently in the fight with Nelson and Pacheco, to a lower degree.
That's Pacheco's trainer too, isn't it? Benavidez
Senior? Yeah, it is his trainer. They once they start to get in their rhythm and once they figure out your patterns, like Morrell, he does have a pattern. He does have patterns. Then they start to again apply more and more pressure, and they start to suffocate you. But it is a more lower level. Pacheco is more calculated than a Benavidez. Benavidez will lunge and he will take risk, because he believes in his chin. But Morrell, again, he's better. Morrell is better coming forward than he is going backwards. So, but Benavidez will try to push him on his back foot and kind of give him that mental pressure. Not only the mental pressure, but he also let his hands go too with the combinations. And he'll vary his fucking combinations, dude. That's one thing that he's super, super good at. Varying his combinations, varying his rhythm, and varying his speed, and hitting you and surprising you with shit that, you didn't expect to be coming.
Right.
Because he will take those chances. So if he does that, man, I'm telling you, the back end of the fight, that's where things gonna get real interesting. But if Morrell is able to keep it under control, stay tight, stay to the course, you know, follow the game plan to a T, man, he can win. He can win the fight, man. It's not inevitable for him. He can do. I mean, he can win. So it just depends on who's able to execute their game plan, man. And again, I'm not 100% sure, but you know, I'm gonna pick Benavidez to win this fight. But it's gonna be a tough fight for sure.